The sky over Earth darkened at noon. It was not an eclipse. It was something much worse. A massive alien ship, the size of a small moon, hovered over the planet. Its shadows stretched across cities, oceans, and mountains. Smaller ships followed, positioning themselves like silent predators ready to strike. The people of Earth looked up in terror. The world had seen alien ships in movies, but this was real. Then the message came. It wasn't in English or any human language, yet everyone understood it. The words appeared on every screen, echoed through every speaker, and rang inside every mind. It was clear, cold, and final. People of Earth, you are weak. You will surrender to the galactic dominion. Kneel before us, or be destroyed. The world fell silent. In command centers across the planet, world leaders and military generals stood frozen. News anchors struggled to speak. Civilians panicked, running through streets, calling loved ones, or staring at the sky in fear. Then, inside a hidden bunker deep beneath the Earth's surface, a group of humans sat in a war room. They were not afraid. They had been preparing for this moment for a long time. The Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, General Daniel Carter, leaned back in his chair. A smirk appeared on his face. He glanced at the team of scientists, strategists, and intelligence officers around him. No one looked worried. If anything, they looked amused. Carter turned to his communication officer. "Send them our reply." The officer nodded, typing a simple message. It traveled through Earth's secured network, bypassed the alien ship's firewalls, and appeared directly on their command screens. It contained only 3 words. "That's adorable." For a moment, there was silence aboard the alien flagship. Admiral Xal Vorin, leader of the Dominion's invasion fleet, narrowed his 4 yellow eyes. He reread the message. Surely, this was a mistake. "Run the translation again," he ordered. The translation remained the same. The bridge of the alien warship filled with uneasy murmurs. The humans should have been begging for mercy, not mocking them. One of Xal Vorin's lieutenants laughed. "Perhaps they do not understand their situation, Admiral. Should we show them?" Xal Vorin grinned, revealing rows of sharp teeth. "Yes, it seems these humans need a demonstration." He turned to his weapons officer. "Target a city. A small one. Wipe it from the surface." On Earth, Carter watched as the alien flagship powered up a giant energy cannon. A red glow formed beneath the massive ship, gathering enough power to erase an entire city in seconds. The world held its breath. The aliens thought they had control. They were wrong. Carter gave a small nod. His people had been waiting for this exact moment. High above the planet, something unseen moved. Hidden deep within Earth's satellite network, Project Blackout activated. The alien ship's cannon suddenly powered down. The red glow flickered and disappeared. The lights inside the ship dimmed. Screens turned black. Weapons failed. Engines stopped. The Dominion's fleet, once mighty and unstoppable, was now powerless. Xal Vorin shot to his feet. "What happened?" he roared. His officers scrambled to restore control, pressing buttons, shouting commands. Nothing worked. Their systems were completely hijacked. Then, another human message appeared on their screens. "Oh no, did something happen? That's too bad." The smiley face at the end made Xal Vorin's blood boil. On Earth, Carter and his team chuckled. The battle had not even started, and already the mighty galactic dominion had lost control. And humanity was just getting started. Panic spread across the bridge of the Dominion's flagship. Screens were black. Weapons were offline. Engines were dead. The ship, once a floating fortress, now hung helplessly in space. Admiral Xal Vorin clenched his fists. This was impossible. No species had ever resisted the Dominion's technology. No one had ever hacked their systems. And yet these humans had done it with a few keystrokes. "Restore power," he barked. The engineers scrambled, their clawed fingers racing over control panels. but the ship remained dark. Then, another human message appeared on the main screen. Need some help? We can fix this, if you say please. A low growl filled the bridge. The Dominion had conquered thousands of worlds, reduced civilizations to dust. Never had they been mocked like this. This is a bluff, Zalvoran muttered. He turned to his second in command, a towering creature named Krillvex. Launch the attack ships. Take their capital. End this now. Krillvex bowed and relayed the order. Within moments, hundreds of Dominion fighter ships detached from the mothership, streaking toward Earth's atmosphere. On Earth, General Carter watched the alien fleet descend. His expression did not change. "Shall we deploy our defenses?" one of his officers asked. Carter shook his head. "No need. Let them come." The officer hesitated, then nodded. Across the world, humanity braced for impact. Fighter jets scrambled. Cities locked down. But no missiles were fired. No laser beams shot toward the sky. Instead, Earth remained still. The alien attack ships entered the atmosphere. They roared over deserts, mountains, and oceans, approaching their targets. But just as they reached their final descent, every single one shut down. Engines failed. Screens flickered. Weapons locked up. The mighty Dominion fleet, unstoppable in every other war, now fell from the sky like dead birds. Some crashed harmlessly into the ocean. Others were caught by Earth's hidden gravity field disruptors, slowing their descent until they landed softly in empty fields, completely intact but useless. Inside the alien cockpits, pilots screamed in confusion. Their controls were frozen. Their comms were dead. They were stranded. Admiral Zalvoran slammed a fist against his control panel. "What is this magic?" "It's not magic," Carter muttered, watching from Earth's command bunker. His voice was calm, confident. "It's technology." For years, the Dominion believed they were the strongest empire in the galaxy. But Earth had never been weak. They had simply been hiding. The first battle was over, and the Dominion had lost, without Earth even firing a single shot. Admiral Zalvoran's yellow eyes burned with fury. His war fleet, the unstoppable force that had crushed 1,000 civilizations, now lay powerless over Earth. His fighters had fallen like leaves, their weapons useless, and all of it happened without a single human attack. It wasn't war, it was humiliation. "We still have ground forces," Zalvoran growled. His sharp claws dug into the metal railing of his command deck. "Deploy the drop pods. We will take this planet the old-fashioned way." His officers hesitated. "Do it," he roared. Across the massive flagship, thousands of invasion pods detached from the ship's underbelly, streaking toward Earth like fiery meteors. Each pod contained elite Dominion shock troopers, merciless, genetically enhanced warriors bred for war. No technology, no ships, just brute force. On Earth, General Carter watched the pods fall through the atmosphere. "They really don't learn, do they?" he muttered, shaking his head. His officers chuckled, but Carter remained serious. "Let's give them a proper welcome." The moment the pods hit the ground, everything changed. The Dominion troops emerged, weapons ready, expecting weak human resistance. Instead, the battlefield was already set. The streets of major cities were empty, not abandoned, just quiet. Buildings shimmered with holographic distortions, shifting like mirages. The aliens stepped forward cautiously, scanning the area. Their sensors malfunctioned instantly. GPS down, thermal vision scrambled, communication completely cut off. They were blind. Then the ground rumbled. Walls opened where there had been none. Hidden bunkers unsealed. Doors led nowhere. Windows showed false reflections. It was a maze. "Commander," one of the Dominion captains barked into his dead communicator. "We are being." A flash of movement. A shadow darted between two buildings. Then another. The Dominion soldiers spun, weapons raised. Too late. Gunfire. Explosions. Silent figures emerged from the shadows, striking with precision. They were not just soldiers, they were ghosts. The Dominion warriors were stronger, larger, faster, but none of that mattered when they couldn't even see their enemy. One by one, they fell. Some were dragged into the shadows. Others fired wildly, hitting nothing. Panic set in. The invaders were being hunted. Back on the Dominion flagship, Zalvoran watched the chaos unfold on his failing screens. His elite troops were vanishing like smoke in the wind. Then the final human message appeared on his screen. "Welcome to Earth. Hope you survive." Zalvoran's hands shook. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. And the trap had only just begun. Admiral Zalvoran's breathing was heavy, his claws gripping the edge of his command console. The battle should have been over by now. Earth should have been on its knees. Instead, his elite warriors, hand-picked conquerors of 1,000 worlds, were vanishing like prey in the dark. His officers watched in tense silence. Reports from the surface were fragmented, but one thing was clear: the humans were not just fighting back. They were winning. Zalvoran snarled. "Enough of this. Deploy the Eradicator squads," he ordered. The Eradicators were the Dominion's most feared warriors, faster, stronger, and deadlier than any species they had ever conquered. Their armor was immune to primitive human weapons. Their combat instincts were unmatched. They would crush this resistance, or so Zalvoran thought. On Earth, the battlefield shifts. In the ruins of a once busy city, the Eradicator squads advanced. Their heavy footsteps echoed through the streets. Buildings burned. The air smelled of smoke and metal. One of the Dominion soldiers, Commander Raltrak, scanned the darkness. No movement, no sounds, just silence. Too much silence. He switched to thermal vision. Nothing. He tried motion sensors. Still nothing. A chill ran down his spine. Then, a single voice crackled through the static of his helmet. "You're not the hunters here." Before Raltrak could react, a flash of steel sliced through the darkness. A human soldier, clad in a sleek, black exosuit, dropped from the rooftop. Silent, precise, deadly. The Dominion warrior barely had time to raise his weapon before a bullet tore through the joint of his armor. He staggered back, roaring in pain. Then, the shadows moved. From every alley, from every rooftop, from every broken window, they came. Not an army, not soldiers, hunters. The Dominion had expected humans to fight like weaklings. They were wrong. The Earth's warriors didn't march in formation. They didn't charge mindlessly. They waited, stalked, struck, and they never missed. One by one, the Eradicator squads fell. They were stronger. They were faster. But humans were smarter. And in a war of the mind, the Dominion had already lost. Aboard the Dominion flagship, panic sets in. Admiral Zalvoran watched in horror as the last signals from his Eradicator squads disappeared. Not killed. Gone. No bodies. No wreckage. Just nothing. His officers looked at him, waiting for orders. There was nothing left to deploy. For the first time in Dominion history, an invasion force had been completely wiped out by a species they had mocked. Then, another human message appeared on his screen. "Still think we're adorable." Zalvoran's blood turned to ice. The humans weren't just winning. They were playing with him. Admiral Zalvoran stood frozen as the last distress signals from his warriors vanished. His elite Eradicators, the most feared soldiers of the Dominion, had been hunted down like prey. No explosions, no massive battles, just silence, and then nothing. His officers avoided his gaze, their confidence crumbling. The Dominion had never faced an enemy like this before. On Earth, General Carter watched the battlefield feed with a calm expression. The aliens had sent their strongest, but strength alone didn't win wars. Tactics did. And humans, they had mastered the art of unseen warfare. His forces never fought head-on. They'd waited, studied, then struck with surgical precision. The aliens expected brute force. Instead, they got ghosts in the shadows. Panic spread among the remaining Dominion troops. Their weapons failed. Their communications were dead. Their own technology had turned against them. Earth had jammed their systems, scrambled their targeting, and left them blind. The once invincible conquerors stumbled through the battlefield like lost children. Every step forward was a step deeper into the trap. Then the Dominion flagship's main screen flickered. A human message appeared in bright letters. "Still think we're adorable." The bridge fell silent. No one spoke. No one dared. Tzalvorin clenched his fists, his claws digging into his palms. This wasn't just a defeat, it was a message. The humans weren't just defending themselves. They were teaching the galaxy a lesson. Admiral Tzalvorin's hands trembled as he stared at the message on his screen. "Still think we're adorable." His war fleet, his invincible soldiers, his advanced technology, all useless. The humans had done the impossible. They had turned his invasion into a massacre. For his own forces, his officers sat in stunned silence, awaiting orders, but there was nothing left to command. On Earth, General Carter exhaled slowly, watching the last Dominion ground forces scatter in panic. Some tried to retreat, others abandoned their weapons, desperate to escape. But there was nowhere to run. The battlefield had become a hunting ground, and humans were the apex predators. Carter's troops, using stealth, deception, and sheer ingenuity, had turned the invaders' greatest strengths into fatal weaknesses. Across the Dominion fleet, chaos erupted. Officers argued. Some demanded a full retreat. Others, too blinded by arrogance, insisted on another attack. But Tzalvorin knew the truth. There was no second chance. If they stayed, they would be wiped out. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was proving a point that would shake the entire galaxy. Then something even more terrifying happened. Earth's counterattack began. Hidden satellites, long dormant, came to life. They hacked into the Dominion fleet's systems, causing weapons to misfire and shields to fail. One by one, Dominion warships lost control. They weren't just losing a battle, they were being erased from existence. Tzalvorin clenched his jaw. The Dominion had underestimated Earth, thinking it was just another weak planet to conquer. Now, they were the ones fighting to survive. The humans had sent their answer to his ultimatum. And it was far more than just words. "You said." Admiral Tzalvorin gritted his teeth, his mind racing for a way out. The invasion was over, not because Earth had begged for mercy, but because the Dominion had lost all control. His once mighty fleet was now a graveyard of drifting warships, their systems hijacked, their crews in panic. The humans had never needed a massive armada to fight back. They had turned the Dominion's own strength into their downfall. On the surface, General Carter gave a simple order: let them run. The remaining Dominion troops, broken and terrified, fled toward evacuation zones. There was no need to chase them. Earth had already won. The message had been delivered, loud and clear. The galaxy had always seen humanity as small, weak, insignificant. Now, they would fear the name Earth. Back on the Dominion flagship, officers scrambled for a retreat plan. Their forces were in ruins. Even if they escaped, how could they explain this humiliation to the High Command? The Dominion had never lost a war. And yet, here they were, defeated, not by superior weapons, but by a species that laughed in the face of an ultimatum. As the battered Dominion fleet limped away, a final transmission came through, a direct message from Earth. Tzalvorin hesitated before opening it, his heart pounding. On the screen, General Carter appeared, arms crossed, a small smirk on his face. "Tell your leaders," he said, "next time, don't send amateurs." The transmission cut out. Silence filled the Dominion bridge. Admiral Tzalvorin slumped into his chair, defeated. He had come to conquer Earth. Instead, Earth had sent the Dominion running in fear.